Why 93% of the people in the gym will never lose their belly fat in 2024. I've gone through multiple transformations over the last decade, taking as long as 7 months and doing it as quickly as 90 days. And when I changed these 5 common mistakes and fixed them, I was able to lose my belly fat effortlessly. Not only have I done it, but my client Gary, who recently finished working with me, was able to achieve the dream physique that he's always wanted in as quickly as 16 weeks once he changed these 5 common mistakes. And I can assure you, if you watch this video to the very end, you're finally going to be able to transition from that 93% group to finally being able to see your 6-pack in 2024. Without further ado, let's not waste any time. Let's move on to mistake number 1, and that is metabolic positioning and not tracking your calories. I set a poll out of curiosity and asking you guys, how many calories are you eating trying to lose fat? 3,800 of you voted, and my viewer percentage of males is about 90%. And these are the statistics. Between 1,500 and 1,600 calories, 25% of you are eating that amount of food every day. And between 2,200 and 2,500, that's 15%. 30% of the 4,000 people who voted are eating above 2,000 calories. And according to the statistics, for the general male, your maintenance energy should be around 2,500 calories. What I'm trying to say here is that a good portion of you who are trying to lose weight are trying to work hard, but you're hurting yourself at the same time. You're severely under eating. The body is an intelligently designed machine. It will adapt to whatever circumstances you put it under. If you're starting to sleep for hours, we both know that's not the healthiest thing to do. However, your body will adapt to it and you will feel like this is normal. And if you're eating 1,500 calories, your body will adapt to it and it will feel like it's normal. However, because you're working hard and severely under eating and you're not seeing results, it is a good explanation for why you may be metabolically compromised. So what should you do? If you're eating sub 2,000 calories and you're not seeing results, and that goes for 70% of you, it is very likely that you're metabolically compromised. And the best way to fix this, and I give the analogy all the time, you have done a math equation and you've made a mistake in your math equation, you're always going to get the wrong answer. The best way to get the right answer is to redo the math equation again. Please eat at maintenance calories for about a month, and this will equate as a metabolic reset. And if you are above 20-30% body fat, the truth is you're fat, and you aren't going to go to 30 to 40 or 50% if you start eating your maintenance calories again. And this is exactly what we did with Gary. When he finally came through my doors, I told him, Gary, we need to fix your metabolism, number 1. So for the first 2 weeks, we ate at maintenance calories. And what ended up happening is, because he gave his body the right macros and calories, he actually started to become more energetic because he was eating so much food. So what happened? He started training harder, which allowed him to build more muscle. He started walking more, which allowed him to burn more calories. And we know to be in a caloric deficit, you need to be burning more calories than you're eating. And because we were able to increase Gary's calories that were coming in, we also improved how many calories he was burning. So not only was he able to boost his metabolism, but he was able to lose fat at a higher amount of calories. So most of the times, if you're metabolically compromised, you're doing all the cardio, you are tracking your calories and you're eating 1,500 or sub 2,000 and nothing is happening, it is a very, very good idea to do a metabolic reset. And most people on the internet won't give you that advice because it's not what you want to hear. But I care for you, and I know that if you're eating sub 2,000, you're not getting the results you want. It means you're metabolically compromised, and the chances of that are very, very high. I highly recommend, at minimum for 2 weeks, eat at maintenance calories, and your weight scale will go up because you're putting more food in your body, you're maybe having more in your digestive system, you're holding a little bit more water weight, but it doesn't mean that you're gaining fat. If you want to make sure, take photos every week and also track the measurements of your shoulders, your arms, and your belly. And that way you can see if those inches are increasing or decreasing, which will give you a bit of peace of mind. But when you go for a metabolic reset, and then you spend 2 to 4 weeks from there and you start to slowly decrease your calories, you'll start noticing that your body is going to be responsive because now your expenditure is so much higher and you can bring it down slowly, and that will create a proper caloric deficit. And yes, over time your body will adapt, and I want you to make a small adjustment. But number 1, eat at maintenance, and then slowly bring your calories down. When scientists or fitness coaches speak of metabolism, they're typically referring to your total daily energy expenditure, TDEE, also known as the total number of calories you burn each day. And this is broken down into two key components. Firstly, it's your basal metabolic rate, and secondly, it is your non-resting energy expenditure. Focusing more on your physical activity and NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which is the energy expended for everything you do that is not sleeping, eating, or anything that's sports-like. It ranges from working, typing, performing yard work, undertaking agricultural activities, and even fidgeting. When in a caloric deficit for an extended period of time, your body senses the decline in food intake and automatically decreases energy expenditure by down-regulating your NEAT. NEAT increases with overfeeding and decreases with underfeeding. So as you continue to diet, your body gets even smarter. It finds subtle and subconscious ways to conserve energy, which slows down your metabolism. This means that even though you may be doing intense workouts and hitting your macros, you may be finding yourself being sedentary for the rest of the day. This is proven by a study done by Buchard and colleagues. The response to exercise with constant energy intake in identical twins. Research showed that although the twins had the exact same diet and training routine, the twin who moved more, stood up more, and had an overall higher NEAT lost 18 more pounds in 90 days. So, to avoid this mistake, keep your body in an optimal metabolic position. Stay active throughout the day, even if it's just small movements, and avoid prolonged periods of sedentary behavior. Incorporate more non-exercise activities into your routine, like taking breaks to stretch or going for short walks. These seemingly small changes can make a big difference in creating a caloric deficit and achieving fat loss. A 2002 study compared two groups. Group 1 had professional dietitians who had experience in recording food intake, and Group 2 had people with very little experience. The results? The dietitians reported their energy intake obtained from food records by an average of 223 calories, which was not different from their energy expenditure, meaning they were at balance. Participants in the control group, as hypothesized, significantly underreported their energy intake by 429 calories, meaning it's very easy to overeat if you're not experienced. As you can see, even professionals, including myself, can very easily overeat food or undereat it if I'm not tracking adequately. And the analogy I want to give you, if you're flying a plane, you want to make sure that you're not going to put too much gas in the plane because maybe it will be too heavy to take off and it can crash. And you don't want to put too little gas in the plane because it's never going to reach its destination if it doesn't have enough fuel. You want to make sure that you're putting the exact amount. And if you want to be successful, it will save you hours of training, hours of cardio, and all your mental effort by just simply tracking and making sure that you're doing everything the right way instead of trying to compensate it with an hour of cardio or doing so much more or severely under eating because you're simply not taking the food that you're eating and putting it on a weight scale and tracking it on MyFitnessPal. It is a very common mistake, but to illustrate my point, let me go to the kitchen and show you what common mistakes that you're making in the kitchen that is stopping you from losing your belly fat. And the analogy I like giving to all of my clients is you want to be surgical. You want to be precise about the way you go through this. Not only will it allow you to see results quicker and your body respond, but it will also improve your discipline and also your overall behavior about being very exact with the way you do things. This is the biggest mistake people are making when they're trying to get lean, and this is the reason why you're not losing fat. You're either underestimating or overestimating your calories. Let me explain. Here we have common breakfast, lunch, and dinner carbohydrate sources. We have oats, that's 400 calories worth. We have rice for lunch, 400 calories, and we have pasta for dinner, another 400 calories. However, what most of us aren't doing is tracking our overall calories. Here we have 150 calories worth of oats. And if you look, if I add this to the oats, and if you're not really tracking, if you're not measuring it on a weight scale, you can't even tell the difference based off of your eye test. This is another 400 calories worth of rice, and this is 150 calories worth of rice in this cup. Add it here, you can't tell the difference if you're trying to measure according to your eyes. And the same thing with pasta. This is another 400 calories, and this here is 40 grams of pasta, and that makes it an extra 150 calories. So 150 from the oats, 150 from the rice, and 150 calories from the pasta, and there you undo your entire caloric deficit in the day. You've eaten an extra 450 calories because you didn't put the food on a weight scale. So you're always either overestimating or underestimating your calories, and that's why you're not seeing results. Use a weight scale and track everything. Number 3, you're dropping your calories way too quickly. So this is exactly what's happening. You're not tracking properly, and at the same time, you may be over or under eating on your foods. So the logical decision is like, you know what, I'm not seeing any results, which means I'm not in a caloric deficit, so I'm gonna cut my calories by another 250 calories. Now that is all good and well, and that may work the first time. So what's probably happening is you're at 2,000 calories and you're like, I'm not seeing any results. I'm gonna cut it by 250. This way I'll make sure that I will be in a caloric deficit. So now I'm gonna eat 1,750 calories. And in the beginning, you may see results. You may see a 2 pounds drop, but as I mentioned, your body's intelligent, and after about 2 to 3 weeks, your body will adapt to the 1,750 calories. And 2 weeks may pass and you'll say, you know what, I'm not seeing results again. I dropped and I'm stuck now. But you're feeling hungry, you're feeling tired, and you're like, man, this sucks, but you know what, I'm motivated, I really want to see results. And the logic is, because I dropped 250 calories earlier, I'll just drop another 250 and I'm gonna get to my result. And what happens is you go from 1,750 and now you're at 1,500 calories, exactly according to the statistics that I showed you that I got from you guys earlier, and now you're at 1,500 calories. And that may help you drop another 2 to 3 pounds. However, our goal isn't to just lose 2 to 3 pounds. Our goal is to lose 20 to 30 pounds if you're at 30% body fat. So you get to a point where you're stuck between a rock and a hard place because you've developed a logic of dropping 250 calories consistently. But the big mistake is, it was your process and the way that you were going about your dieting altogether. Because you're dropping the calories too quickly, it put you in a metabolically compromised situation, and that was also not sustainable. And the mistake was that if you were meticulous in the beginning, you may have only had to drop about 100 calories to see the results you want. So I'll tell you, when I work with a client, I will never drop their ever by 250 unless it's in the very beginning, when I've given them a lot of food to eat. But in general, on average, I'll only drop as much as 150 calories per week, or even every 2 weeks if necessary. Because if I do that, I know it doesn't give us enough takeoff. The analogy I give is when you start your dieting process, you're a plane about to take off. You want to give yourself enough runway so you can reach your destination. However, every time you decrease 250 calories, you give your body less and less takeoff. So I highly recommend to only drop your calories by 100 to 150 at max. And that generally should be enough to put your body in more of a caloric deficit, because it was in a deficit already. You just need to make a slight adjustment. And this way you can avoid being at 1,500, 1,200 calories and then being stuck. You want to also give your body enough time to adapt to those calories, and this usually speaks to people's patience throughout this process. So again, I will never drop more than 150 calories in a week. And sometimes I like giving it 7 to 10 days to allow the body to adapt to the calories. And let's say you have dropped 150 calories and you're not seeing the results you want, then I highly recommend auditing your process. So it is common that maybe you're adding too much sauce in your meals, or maybe you're taking too many bites of your partner's Kit Kat, or maybe your body's not moving enough. Maybe you're getting 3,000 steps instead of the 8,000 steps that you need to. So before you drop calories, audit your eating, audit how much you're moving, track everything. And once you know the house is in order, then you can make a slight adjustment. But that's a common mistake I'm seeing, and that's why 25% of the people who voted are eating 1,500 calories. I'm pretty sure you're not shredded and you're not seeing an amazing shape, and it's because you dropped the calories too quickly. And to give you guys a reference, I'm 5'8", and at my leanest, I'm 170 pounds. And only in my last week of prepping for a men's physique show do I ever eat 1,600 calories. At no point in the 90 days or in the 7 months do I eat those calories, only in the last week. So if you're at 30% body fat or even 20% and you're already at 1,500 calories, you're never gonna get to 10% because the calories are too low. It's not sustainable. So again, back to the first advice I gave you, it's very likely you need to metabolically reset first and then be meticulous about your process and then slowly decrease. And then that's why so many people don't see results, because number one, they're not patient enough, and number two, they're not meticulous, they're not precise about their process. Let's move on into tip number 4. Mistake number 4 is too many cheat days. Now, having a cheat meal isn't a problem, but having cheat days can really undo all of your hard work. Let's go to the kitchen and let me show you what a regular pizza looks like and how many calories and fats are in that pizza. Too many cheat days. Now, let me give you an example. For the physique and my current shape, I'm in single-digit body fat and I'm eating 50 grams of fat daily. Now, let me show you what 50 grams of fat really looks like. So if you're doing cheat days and you're eating various foods outside of the scope of what you should be eating, it's very easy to overeat. Here, we have a pepperoni pizza from Pizza Hut. In this plate alone with 6 small slices, I mean, look at the size of it. There's 900 calories in this plate of pizza. Now, what's even more shocking is that there's 42 grams of fat in this small plate of pizza. And let me show you what that looks like. 42 grams of fat. This pizza is 84% of my total fat allocation in just this one sitting. And the truth is, I'm not even gonna feel full. Now again, one pizza won't be an issue. But if that entire day you're having bagels for breakfast with an English muffin, or you're having some sort of cake in the morning, something sweet, you have another cheat meal for lunch, and then you have a pizza for dinner, the likelihood that I'm going to eat 3 times or 4 times my total fat allocation is so high. This is exactly why I always recommend a cheat meal versus an entire cheat day. This way you can limit the amount of calories you're intaking with one of your favorite foods. So rather have a cheat meal instead of having an entire cheat day, because you can very easily undo all your hard work. Now, let's be honest. Are you only going to eat that pizza throughout that entire day? And just like that, you might have a McFlurry, which is another 500 calories. And then you decided to have a Snickers bar, which is another 200 calories. And it's very easy to undo all the hard work you've done throughout the week. Now, maybe in your dieting process, you did that in week 1. How many more times are you going to do that throughout the next 4 months? And that's when people start getting frustrated, is that I'm working so hard for 6 days in the week and I just take 1 day off. Why am I not seeing any results? You're re-eating a lot of the calories that you burned and dieted for throughout the week. So my recommendation is, instead of having a cheat day, rather have a cheat meal. And more so, you at least want to watch the fat contents within that meal. So something that I personally prefer doing, instead of having a Big Mac that's 550 calories at 25 grams of fat, I'll make Dr. Mike's Mac, which in reality, all I'm doing is picking a healthier patty that doesn't have as much fats, and I'm picking better sauces, and I can eat maybe even double the amount because there's so little fats in there. Simply making a home alternative version can be better than having the cheat meal that you're eating outside. But then again, if you're just doing the cheat meal and you want to have that McDonald's burger, that is a much better option than eating junk foods throughout the entire day, undoing your entire week's hard work. So rather go to a cheat meal, and if you really want to get to 10%, rather prepare your cheat meal at home where you have control of the protein, carbs, and fats in that particular meal. Let's move on into mistake number 5. And this is a controversial one, but you're doing too much cardio. So this is exactly what happens. You'll maybe start doing 30 minutes of cardio in the beginning, and you'll move that up to 45, and you'll move that up to an hour, and you can even move that up into 2 hours. And I know this because I've made this mistake myself, and I was like, I'm burning more calories, right? I should be losing more weight. However, that can be very counterproductive towards your overall health and fitness journey. Let me explain. Number one, when you're doing so much cardio and you're running and you're doing high impact exercises with all the pounding of your knees, the pounding of your ankles, all of that running will add stress on your body. Stress is equivalent to cortisol. Your cortisol levels will rise, and we know that cortisol can directly block your ability to lose fat because your body is so stressed. So I highly recommend not doing more than an hour of cardio, but slowly working your way up. Again, I have been at an hour of cardio, but only towards the very end of my entire prep. This way I was able to have my body manage my cortisol levels. Not only that is it so stressful on the body, it's highly unsustainable to be able to do an hour worth of sprinting or an hour worth of high intensity interval training, because most people have work to do or that you're studying, and it can be very, very tiring. And the moment you stop doing the cardio and you're not burning all those calories, what's going to happen? Your overall calorie burn is going to come down, and you're not going to be burning as many calories as you were in the past. So I highly recommend, instead of doing that amount of cardio at that stress level, replacing that cardio with walking. Not only that, you tend to develop an appetite. You tend to get hungrier by doing so much more cardio. The more cardio you do, the hungrier you're going to be, because you're burning all those calories. Your body's going to tell you, hey, replenish these calories that you just burnt. And the higher you go, the higher that hunger signal will be to replenish your body with those calories. This is exactly why I rather, instead of having high intensity interval training or doing so much cardio, to replace it with walking. Why? Walking compared to running is a lot less lower stress on the body, and also less physically active and physically demanding on the body. So I always take walking over running because of the decrease of stress. Number 2, walking, because it's not so stressful as well, will not make you as hungry as running, for example. So it'll also keep your appetite very low. So with the decrease in your cortisol, the decrease in hunger, the next thing is about sustainability. If I had to say, hey, I will give you $1 million, but you need to choose one form that you can do every day. I'll give you $1 million if you run every day, or $1 million if you walk every day. Which one are you likely going to be able to do? You're gonna be able to walk every day. So because walking gives you this ability to do it daily, you're gonna beat the person running, because you're gonna win the marathon, because you're doing so many more sessions of it sustainably. When I was finally able to change those 5 things with myself and with my clients, and when I was starting to work smart and not hard, being able to lose my belly fat became effortless. And this is exactly why you see so much people do a lot more cardio in the gym, or you'll see them at the gym and then you'll see them out at the bar on the weekend. It's really about doing the small things right and doing the basics right versus doing the really, really hard things. I really hope this video will help the people out there and at least bring consciousness to like the mistakes that you're making in general. And finally, you'll be able to circumvent these mistakes, and you'll see the weight coming off as a result of this video. I really hope it helped you. If it did, leave the video the gentle thumbs up. Let me know in the comment section down below. Are there any mistakes that I missed that you are probably doing or people are doing and that changed for you? Let me know in the comments, or any tips that I shared that you feel had that impact that I'm sharing with you. Let me know in the comment section down below. But I'll leave the video here. I am wishing you the best for 2024. I want you to finally see your 6-pack. Subscribe if you want to guarantee that happens, because I'll continue sharing gems like this with you. But I'll leave it here. Cheers.